Hey, good morning, everybody. Or evening, afternoon, whenever it happens to be, whenever you're watching this. Um, the plan or the objective of this video and today's assignment is I'm going to go over real quickly lesson three from chapter 18. And I'm going to provide you, just like in the past, just a short quiz about that, about this section. Obviously, use the video, use the notes to take the quiz, get the easy 100. Lesson three is kind of a broad section of the chapter where it just sort of gets into the idea of saving money and options for saving money. Um, Before I get too far, I'm not going to play the video and record the video in this video. But if you have a couple extra minutes, I would strongly recommend watching this video here, Investing Money in Plain English. It explains very simply the idea of like what it means to invest money, especially balancing the risk versus the reward. Because really all investing money is taking your money, figuring out what you want to risk it on, how you want to risk it, and how much money you want to make. There's no one way to invest money. The pretty standard typical way is really one of two ways for many people: putting money into the stock market or putting money into things like savings accounts or savings bonds. Those are the two pretty typical ways. Um, Looking over this first slide here, um, I would imagine most of you understand what a savings account is. I've got the term money market account here. Money market account is literally the same exact thing as a savings account, but it's for rich people. If you've got large sums of cash, I'm talking about big sums of cash, Donald Trump type sums of cash. None of us that are watching this video or making this video have that kind of cash. Um, so if you ever get to the point where you have a money market account, remember me at Christmas. Um, and then we have certificates of deposit or savings bonds. Saving Every savings option has this amount of liquidity, or they're liquid or not. When an account is liquid, that means that money is easily usable. So if you have money in your pocket right now, your money is about as liquid as it gets. You can use it literally right then. If you have money in a savings account, it's pretty liquid, but it's not completely liquid. When an account is very, very liquid, you have low interest rates that are given to you. And when it's not very liquid, you have high interest rates that are given to you. If we are in class, I would spend forever talking about just that concept alone, but I don't have that kind of time. With savings bonds and certificates of deposits, many of you guys have savings bonds. These are just sort of bonds that you can buy from places like a bank. You can buy it from a business. Many people buy them from the government. And you just sort of pledge to keep your money in a bond for a period of time. They're oftentimes called a time deposit down here. In order for you to get all of your money back, it has to reach what's known as maturity. The pledge that if you buy a bond and it's a 5-year bond, you pledge to keep the money in that bond for 5 years. After 5 years, it reaches maturity. You can cash it out for full value. Other than that, or you can cash out a savings bond or a CD before it reaches full value. But then you sort of pay a penalty at that point. So, I mean, if you're cashing out a savings bond, it better darn well be an emergency for you to be cashing that out early because you're going to lose money for doing that. Factors to consider when saving. This is going to sound like the super like ultra responsible teacher thing to say. It's just responsible. We're seeing that now with this COVID lockdown. We have millions of Americans who have found out that they cannot live for without more than one paycheck. It is the responsible thing to do to bank as much cash as possible. You never know when a rainy day occurs. You just should. It's the most responsible thing possible. But there are factors to consider. The first one is, how much disposable income can you even live without? Some people don't have a whole lot of money that they can live without out of their paycheck. They're using their entire paycheck to pay their bills. The second thing is, what are you saving for? Are you saving to buy a car? Are you saving for college? Are you saving just to build up your savings account, retirement? So that could be a factor as to how much you save and what your savings options are. How much interest do you want, or how much interest do you need? Do you want to like build up your savings quickly, or do you want to do it over a long period of time? And then how much money are you expecting to make in the future? That should be a factor to consider. Um, Typically, I would spend forever on the stock market. Um, all stocks are is partial ownership in a company. We've talked a little bit about this earlier in the school year. There's two types of companies in America. There's private companies. These are stocks that cannot be bought, or companies that cannot be bought. Like for instance, Sheets. Sheets is a private company. You can't buy Sheets. No matter what you do, you cannot find any shares of Sheets on the stock market. Public companies are companies that you can buy stock in that company. There are thousands of them in the United States. Your ticker symbol is the unique symbol that is applied to a company in the stock market. Uh, Three examples: Google's is GOOG, Nike's is NKE, Walmart's is WMT. A share is one owner of one unit of ownership. Um, and I'm not going to insult your intelligence. I think you guys can sort of read some of this other stuff here. I'm not going to go over literally every word for you. If it comes down to it and you need assistance, just like reach out and ask. Typically in a normal year, I would spend a lot of time on this, but I think in a year like this, I'm going to kind of tone down some of the minute details of this chapter. Um, let's see here. Some important terms. We've got a bull market. This is where, generally speaking, a stock market and an economy is strong. We had a bull market up until about 2 months ago. A bear market is a weak market where prices are going down right now. The stock market is woof, really bad. I myself have lost thousands of dollars in my retirement account. Ask your parents about their retirement accounts if they have one. So yeah, it's a bear market is a bad time. So um, we've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This is a stock index or a statistic. It shows the strength of the stock market, or basically the strength of the 30 largest industrial companies in America. With the S&P 500, which is an index of the 500 largest companies. This term here, diversification, I do want to point this out. I'll give you a reading assignment about Warren Buffett later on, and he talks about diversification a little bit. Diversification is an investment strategy where you take your money, and because you're basically afraid that you're going to lose all of it, you spread it out into a lot of different options. Because you're worried that if you put all of your money into Walmart, if Walmart has a bad year and they lose money, you could lose a lot of money. So if you spread your money out across like 10 stocks, 20 stocks, 30 stocks, you're a little bit more safe. It's going to be harder to make a lot of money quickly, but you're not going to lose your money. It's a fairly popular investment strategy. I myself like to do that because I'm a chicken and don't want to lose my money. So there are three basic stock exchanges in America, the three biggies. There's actually more than that, but the three big ones. These are just stores where someone can buy or sell a stock. There's the New York Stock Exchange in New York City. There's the American Stock Exchange, or AMEX. That's in Chicago, if you ever wanted to know. And then the NASDAQ is an electronic, like online stock exchange. The individual that you could buy a stock from would be a stockbroker. They typically charge commissions or a fee for purchasing stocks and offering advice for you. And that's pretty much it. I kind of blew through that. My goal is to keep this under 15 minutes. Let me see if there's anything else that's worth mentioning. Um, no, I mean, I think that's about it. I don't want to make this harder than it needs to be. As I said, some of this math stuff down here, while I might sneak a question on the quiz or on the test, I'm probably going to really de-emphasize this. So that's about it for the chapter. I have some activities and some readings that I want to do. My plan is, even though I've covered now all the chapter notes, that we're going to take the chapter 18 test next Friday would be my plan. So we're not quite at the point of taking the test yet. So that's about it. Take a few minutes, take your test, take the quiz that's attached with this, and if you have any questions, please reach out and ask. Thanks. Bye.